Did you know that astrology can point towards your dream career? Here's how to find yours with the example chart of Adolf Hitler. Yes, he's a violent, egoistical mass murderer, but the opportunity to learn is too hard to miss. In astrology, the planets in the 10th house and the planets that owns the 10th house indicates your karmic career path, what your chart is trying to make you do in life. In the sidereal zodiac, he's a Libra rising, which means his 10th Rashi is Cancer and the career lord is Moon. So let's look at the Moon first, which is in the 3rd house. And what does the 3rd house represent? It represents arts, physical creativity, such as acting, dancing, creativity done with hands, such as drawing, playing musical instruments, public speaking, being on stage, and even advertising. Do you see how smooth astrology is? Hitler wanted to be an artist. He has been so adamant about it, he was willing to take constant beatings from his physically violent father, who had wanted him to pursue a different career path. Not only that, he was a brilliant public speaker who was constantly on stage, both of which falls under the 3rd house. The 3rd house even represents engineering and mechanical crafts. If there are rough planets in it, such as Mars and Saturn, but his 3rd house is overwhelmingly beneficial in nature. It has the Moon with the 3rd house lord Jupiter, another naturally benefic soft planet, which makes it overwhelmingly artistic. By the way, the conjunction or the mutual aspect between Moon and Jupiter is an extremely auspicious yoga called Gajakeshari Yoga, which gives individuals the ability to win over obstacles, public visibility, and lasting reputation. However, both of these planets are tightly conjunct with Ketu, the south node of the Moon. When Ketu is involved with the career lord, you have to consider film, photography, and anything to do with the camera. Ketu represents oil, gas, magic, anesthesia, and drugs as well. It's well known his artistic aspirations didn't become a reality. But if he kept trying, he would have done brilliantly as an artist, but even more so as a photographer, film director, and even an actor. By the way, both Rahu and Ketu are brilliant at propaganda, and Hitler was a master at it. But why did he get involved in politics? For that, take a look at his 10th house of career. It is occupied by Saturn, which happens to be the 4th and 5th house lords for Libra ascendants, because Saturn owns Capricorn and Aquarius. And one of the main things the 5th house represents is politics. Since Saturn is bureaucratic, it explains his leadership style and political ideology. The aspect of Mars into the 10th house makes it domineering. By the way, when a trine lord such as the 5th lord occupies an angle house such as the 10th house, it makes a Raj Yoga, a king yoga that allows a person to climb to the top of the career ladder. But why is he so charismatic and got heavily involved in the military? For that, we have to look at Aries, his 7th house. There are 4 planets in it. Remember this, if a house is occupied by 3 or more planets, you have to pay attention to the house and those planets because it indicates massive karmic energy. The 7th house, Libra, is occupied by the Sun, Mercury, Mars, the Lagna Lord Venus, and aspected by Jupiter, Ketu, and Saturn. The 7th house represents careers of businessmen, merchants, and working with partners. A person with a strong 7th house can connect with others, read them well, and influence them. They know how to say the right thing at the right time. But while benefic planets in the 7th house will make their influence empathetic or charismatic or charming, malefic planets in the 7th house makes their influence pushy or manipulative. Although there are 2 benefic planets, Venus and Mercury in it, the planets that have the power in the 7th house are Mars and Sun, because Mars happens to be the owner of Aries and the Sun is exalted in it. So his influence over others is pushy, ruthless, and domineering thanks to Mars, charismatic, proud, authoritative, and commanding due to the Sun. The aspect of Ketu onto the 7th house makes it secretive and manipulative, and the aspect of Saturn into the 7th house and Mars makes them agitated and toxic. Now, why did he get involved in the military? It's because his Lagna Lord Venus is closely conjunct with Mars, the planet of violence, aggression, fighting, control, domination, military, and police. They are both extremely closely conjunct at 24 degrees. Additionally, when Mars is conjunct with the Sun, it further creates a military and law enforcement yoga. Furthermore, both Sun and Mars are throwing their 7th aspect into the rising sign, which controls the personality. Another major thing astrology gurus tell you is to consider the age of the person and the prevailing conditions of the kingdom before making predictions. When he was young, it was World War I, a time where most young men were pushed towards the military irrespective of their careers. In conclusion, do you see how smooth astrology is? And let me know in the comments below whose chart you would like me to analyze next. Thank you.